Never stop reading Bible. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack ancient texts, find that timeless wisdom, and see how it fits into life today.
Exactly. And today, Psalms 90 through 94, these aren't just old poems. They're really powerful reflections on, life, God, justice, stuff that still matters.
Deeply resonant, yeah. Okay, let's unpack Psalm 90. This one's incredibly unique, the only one actually attributed to Moses.
That's right. And it reads like a prayer, doesn't it? Born out of some heavy stuff.
Totally. It stems from Moses' sorrow over Israel's judgment specifically, that first generation being barred from Canaan. All because of disbelief, remember, from Numbers 14.
Yeah, that context is crucial. And what's fascinating is the contrast Moses sets up. You've got God, eternal, existing before mountains.
Unimaginably vast.
Right. And then there's us, human beings, described as fleeting, like field flowers, or even just dust.
Wow, dust. It's quite stark.
It is, but that starkness isn't just depressing, It's an invitation. It pushes us to seek God's grace, to really value the time we do have.
Makes sense. That fleeting feeling kind of leads us into Psalm 91, doesn't it? Different author, we don't know who, but such a different vibe.
Oh, completely. This one bursts with confidence, all about God as our refuge.
Yeah, it calls God the supreme, ultimate fortress. Strong language. It promises unwavering safety on life's journey.
And if you look at the bigger picture, it's a real faith psalm. It promises constant divine protection, salvation, even glory for those who trust.
The imagery is so vivid, too, dwelling in the shadow, rescue from snares.
Exactly. It paints this picture of radical safety, but it makes you wonder, what kind of safety? Does it mean nothing bad ever happens?
Good question.
Well, I think it's less about avoiding trouble altogether and more about experiencing God in the trouble. That radical trust, it changes how you face adversity. What stands out to you about that kind of reliance?
That deep trust is definitely something to chew on. Moving on, Psalm 92, a Sabbath hymn.
Right. Meant for worship together as a community. It's full of praise for God's righteous rule.
And specifically, it contrasts how God deals with the wicked, who he destroys, versus the righteous, who he glorifies.
Yeah, it's quite direct. Verse 8 is sort of the core, highlighting God's eternal perspective.
So how does that fit into a Sabbath context? Praising judgment doesn't sound very restful.
Well, think about it as reframing the week. Maybe you faced injustice, things felt unfair. Then on the Sabbath, you sing together about God's ultimate justice.
Ah, okay. Like a corrective lens.
Exactly. And it pictures the righteous as these, healthy, fruitful trees planted right there in the temple, testifying to God's goodness. It's a vision of flourishing rooted in divine justice.
Which makes you ask, how does that vision help us understand flourishing today when things often seem unjust?
That's the enduring question, isn't it?
From that communal hymn, we get Psalm 93. Just this powerful, almost stark declaration. God reigns.
Yeah, short and potent. Tradition says it was sung the day before the Sabbath.
Setting the stage, maybe?
Could be. What's striking is how it contrasts God's absolute authority with earthly rulers. It says God is the creator, clothed in majesty.
And it emphasizes stability, right? His providential care over everything.
Unwavering stability. The world might seem chaotic, floods might roar, but God's throne, his rule is firm, established from of old. It's meant to be deeply reassuring.
Okay, so we've had lament, trust, Sabbath praise, cosmic rule, and then we hit Psalm 94. The tone shifts again, dramatically.
Oh, yeah. This one's raw. It's a lament, a cry for help from a time when it really seemed like evil was winning and good people were suffering unjustly.
Feels very current, unfortunately. Very relatable.
It does. And in ancient Israel, this kind of lament was a recognized way to pray. It's this passionate appeal for God to step in, for justice, a real cry against the way things are.
But it doesn't just stay in complaint mode, does it?
No, and that's key. Like many laments, it moves. It starts with anguish, that feeling of how long, Lord? But it ends with this profound confession of faith, trusting that God is the ultimate judge, that he will bring fairness.
So even in the anger and confusion, there's still that underlying trust.
Exactly. It sort of gives permission to bring all that messy, difficult stuff to God, believing he hears and will ultimately act.
The source for today's deep dive came from the Center Studio.